Are you in the market for luxury goods? Based on the year that luxury giants have been having, you probably aren't, but maybe it's time to buy a luxury as an asset. In Rebag's annual Claire report out today, some luxury products have retained or even grown in value over the last year. And for more on this report, Charles Gorra, Rebag CEO and founder, he is here today. And thank you for joining us. Just your firsthand, 50,000-foot view of the luxury market this year. I was making some comments that they were kind of toe in toe with the Magnificent Seven, but demand kind of fell off. What's your take on the resale in the U.S.?
Hey, good morning. Glad to be here. I would say to some extent the resale market is a reflection of the luxury market, and you kind of have two converse trends, two opposite trends in this market. You have, if things slow down on the luxury first-hand market, it means, there's more tension on consumer there. And so maybe there's someone, on our end of the resale world who's finding essentially access to a cheaper version of that product. So that's some of the dynamics that you can see. And you also see the reverse, which is if things are tense, at people's budgets, etc., you can see a lot more sellers. So we are a consequence of some of the trends that you see in the first-hand market.
I'm curious, when you think about the luxury market more broadly, how you're thinking about some of the headlines that we've heard recently about the other players in the space. I'm thinking Farfetch, for example, considering going private after sales just haven't stood up to the degree that they were coming out of the pandemic when we saw a lot of spending in this space. How much does that concern you about the longevity of your business moving forward?
I mean, it's certainly problematic for the whole space. I would say Farfetch is, they're more in the first-hand world, but, we are also part of that digital luxury world. And, it's obviously easier for us if everyone succeeds. I would say Farfetch is, a lot of the Farfetch story is an international story that has to do with China and a lot of geographies that, we're not directly impacted with. And frankly, they've had their own problems of, taking the company in many, many directions. So I would say not directly related, but you're right. What is common is there are some tensions in what you could call unit economics, right? And some of that is for the last 2 years, you have a combination of softer demands. You have a lot of combination of more competition. You have a combination of increasing customer acquisition costs for a lot of digital players. And you have, more channels available for luxury, companies. So I think all of that put together makes it more difficult for everyone to stand out, and you have to find a way to get this done profitably.
What about the problem of counterfeited goods? This is something that's been a thorn in the side of luxury makers for decades, but especially with e-commerce and the ability to, manufacture counterfeit goods has only increased. We've seen this become a bigger problem. How does your company deal with this specifically?
Yeah, it's a huge issue. So counterfeits have always been an issue, and I would say they're increasing, mostly because what we call super fakes are essentially becoming better and better. So it's always a game of virus versus antivirus, and you always have to upgrade your game. So the way we figured it out at Rebag for the past decade that we're in that market is every item that we buy and sell transits through our own properties, our warehouse, our store, and we see it in person and is assessed physically. And so we've trained a team of experts and all sorts of digital tools that we use for that. And then we own that product with all the reinsurance and trust and returns and guarantees that goes with that. I think a lot of the problem you see on authentication have to do with sort of digital companies, if you will. And the problem is authentication is extremely hard to assess in a digital way. And the best way is really in person at this stage.
Well, Charles, we're going to have to leave it there, but I will tell our audience that we know from your data, the Telfar bags really seeing a lot of sales there. So if you're still looking for some holiday gifts, maybe a Telfar bag for folks. Thank you so much, Charles Gorra, Rebag CEO, for joining us.